how many on Capitol Hill are reacting? And in sports, the OU men's basketball team just tipped off against the Golden Flash of Kent State. We'll have updates for you later in the show. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Anna Azalian. Thanks for joining us. An Ohio pastor says he and his church have been threatened over his support of LGBTQ rights. Jim Nelson reports on the hostile message left for him and why he says he shared it with his congregation.
I could be brought down, my teachings could easily be brought down, and this church could be burned down.
Reverend Luke Linden sharing with his congregation a violent voicemail left for him at church. He's the senior pastor at Medina's United Church of Christ. A few weeks ago, he was quoted in a local newspaper as someone who supports an anti-discrimination measure long battled over in Medina's city council. His support, he says, was always as a private citizen, but after the threat, he felt the need to address it from the pulpit.
And I've received a threat to my person and a threat of arson to this building.
He said it was the second threat made against him, but this call made February 9th was filled with a vile, slur-laden message.
He identifies himself as a Pentecostal Christian, and then it's just downhill from there. He proceeds to unleash a hateful diatribe. The things uttered on that voicemail message is not fit to repeat from the pulpit ever.
Church staff called police and immediately locked down the church and adjoining preschool. Extra security provided for the church and Linden's home. The pastor now standing tall as the caller's identity remains a mystery.
I refuse to be a Christian who lives in fear of people who look or speak or worship differently than I do.
Police say the investigation into the threats is ongoing. The president of Ohio University said they will not be able to meet target budget reductions. Dwayne Nellis stated in an email to OU employees today that the school will not be able to meet target budget reductions without, quote, reducing positions in most, if not all, colleges and administrative divisions. An analysis recommends $26 million in incremental cuts to college budgets over the next 3 years and $8 million in reductions to administrative units. The Board of Trustees recently approved $65 million in reserves to be used through fiscal year 2024 for academics. The Fairfield-Athens Major Crimes Unit executed 2 search warrants in Columbus last Friday. They resulted in the arrest of a gang member and an alleged drug trafficker. The task force was able to seize more than 3 pounds of methamphetamine, more than an ounce of suspected fentanyl, cocaine, 4 semi-automatic handguns, and just over $13,000 in cash. The Major Crimes Unit, which services Fairfield, Hocking, and Athens counties, includes multiple agencies, including the Athens County Sheriff's Office. The investigation was known as Operation Ice Market. It began in November of 2019 and targeted the drug trafficking operation responsible for supplying, quote, large amounts of methamphetamine to the region. The police arrested John Allen III, who is an identified member of the Choke and Kill Blood Street Gang. He's facing charges of having weapons under disability, a felony in the 3rd degree. Now let's take a look at your local weather with Nicholas.
Hi everybody, I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. Well, we had a very chilly day as we were out and about today, and it's still pretty chilly right now. 32 is the current temperature. Humidity is at 59% as we have some clouds and possibly a few snow showers moving through the viewing area. Pressure is at 30.01 inches, so relatively high, and it is rising as an area of high pressure is moving into the viewing area, and winds are out of the west at 9 miles an hour across the area. Temperatures generally in the lower 20s and middle to upper 30s, or excuse me, upper 20s and middle to upper 30s. 28 in Columbus, 37 the warm spot down in Ironton, 34 in Jackson, 32 in Ripley, same thing here in Athens. All under mainly cloudy skies. Watch out for a few snow showers further south along the mountains and further south of the river. Highlights over the next couple of days. We're staying cold for at least the next few hours as wind chills could be dropping into the lower teens and upper single digits tonight. We will warm you up this weekend, however, but rain returns to start next week. I'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in the next couple of minutes. Anna?
Thanks, Nicholas. A former doctor at a children's hospital in Dayton has been indicted Indicted on 145 counts of child pornography. The Ohio Attorney General announced the charges Thursday. DeVero Bocart has details.
Dr. Gregory Ramey previously served as the executive director of the Center for Pediatric Mental Health Resources at Dayton Children's Hospital. But a hospital spokesperson saying today he was terminated after his alleged possession of child pornography was reported to state authorities.
90 images representing probably more than 40 individual children, and especially troubling in a doctor who specializes with children.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announcing the indictment today of 145 felony counts of child pornography. But he assures Miami Valley residents that the hospital has been fully cooperative with their investigation.
These images do not appear to be of his patients. It looks as though he obtained these on the internet.
Dayton Children's adding no inappropriate material was found on or accessed via Dayton Children's devices. Yost says 70-year-old Ramey of Beaver Creek turned himself in today, but would not comment whether or not he's cooperating with the investigation. He says his office got involved because they were asked by the Greene County prosecutor.
There was a potential perceived conflict of interest because of a charitable organization that the doctor and the prosecutor both were part of, and in an abundance of caution and a desire to make sure that this is completely without any kind of issue, he asked us to come in and handle it.
The Dayton Children's
Dr. Ramey has since been terminated by Dayton Children's Hospital. 2 people have been arrested in connection to a fatal shooting at an apartment complex near West Virginia University. Campus police say multiple agencies responded to the report of shots fired at a housing complex near the university at around 4 in the morning. The suspects were arrested at a nearby Walmart shortly after the shooting. An investigation is ongoing. The West Virginia state senator is set to go on trial in April on charges that he solicited a prostitute. Police say Senator Mike Maroney exchanged text messages to discuss prices and set up meetings with a woman who has acknowledged being a prostitute. Maroney has pleaded not guilty. Even with the charges, Maroney has still been active at the State House this legislative session as chairman of the Senate Committee on Health and Human Resources. 2 former Kentucky correctional officers have been sentenced for their roles in the 2018 beating of a handcuffed inmate, as well as an attempt to cover up the assault. David M. Schwartz and Donna K. Gentry both pleaded guilty Thursday to violating the civil rights of a pretrial detainee, writing false reports and obstructing justice. Schwartz was sentenced to 2 years in jail. Gentry will spend 8 months under house arrest. Fear begins to spread as more and more people become infected with the coronavirus, and how those on Capitol Hill are reacting to these heightened fears. Those stories and more when Newswatch returns.
I'm Miranda Esmond-White. In this program, I reveal the 6 simple steps to starting your journey on the fast track to aging backwards. After hearing from many of you who were unsure how to implement the process of aging backwards, I laid out this easy-to-follow formula. I explain how you can increase your energy, reboot your brain, and relieve pain.
Can you all live the ultimate retirement? You can.
Acclaimed personal finance expert Susie Orman provides essential advice to make your retirement more successful and secure.
Every little action that you take can make a tremendous difference. It's never too soon to begin. Fear no more.
Susie Orman's Ultimate Retirement Guide.
When we dial up the nutritional quality of your diet, we dial up your health span and your lifespan.
Dr. Joel Furman is a board-certified physician whose pioneering work in nutrition has been acclaimed as a medical breakthrough for weight loss, disease reversal, and prevention. Change your life with the food you eat. Please join us for Dr. Furman's Food as Medicine.
I was on a kayak whale watching trip in California when this happened. A humpback whale breached on top of us. How can you get that close to something that big and not die? I was drawn into a much bigger story. There were other close encounters with whales. I became obsessed with whales, and that's where the detective work starts.
Coronavirus fears have sparked a mad dash for cleaning products. Retailers like CVS and Walgreens say they've noticed an increase in demand for hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, and face masks. The demand is so great, officials at CVS are worried there will be a shortage. Bath & Body Works says it's also seeing a spike in demand for hand sanitizer. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the best way to combat coronavirus is by washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Worldwide, confirmed cases of the coronavirus have topped 83,000 people and have caused more than 2,800 deaths. Fear about the disease has roiled stock markets around the world, and officials in Washington are facing increased scrutiny about how the U.S. is handling the epidemic. Whitney Wild has the latest.
A California patient fighting the coronavirus at the UC Davis Medical Center is now in serious condition, officials say. The case is particularly troubling for experts who still don't know how this person contracted the virus, indicating what's called community spread. Further, the patient wasn't tested initially, raising concern there could be more unknown cases without a connection to travel or another known patient. The World Health Organization says knowledge of the virus continues to evolve.
This is a new virus. It's certainly challenging us. It's a very infectious virus.
The number of cases in the U.S. increased again Friday, with more than 60 confirmed cases, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Meanwhile, a Health and Human Services employee alleges workers who handled the first evacuees from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak, weren't given proper training or protective gear, something officials dispute.
I can say unequivocally that everyone involved with those evacuations was appropriately equipped and trained.
U.S. officials continue to urge calm.
Are you going to see some schools shut down? Probably. May you see impacts on public transportation? Sure, but we do this. We know how to handle this.
President Donald Trump has tasked Vice President Mike Pence with leading the response.
We're going to bring a whole-of-government approach to this.
Around the world, more than 20 vaccines are in the works. Now, the race is on to bring crucial medicine to the people who need it most. In Washington, I'm Whitney Wild reporting.
The fear of the coronavirus has even spread to the chambers of Capitol Hill. Lawmakers grilled Secretary of State Mike Pompeo over the Trump administration's response to the global spread of the coronavirus. Pompeo was at the hearing to discuss the U.S.'s killing of a top Iranian general earlier this year. Democrats drew a parallel between the administration's conflicting explanations for the killing and its public messaging related to the coronavirus.
Or any other senior level American official been in touch with anyone inside the Iranian government to coordinate on this response to the virus and to mitigate the further spread of the virus?
We have made offers to the Islamic Republic of Iran to help, and we've made clear to others around the world in the region that humanitarian assistance to push back against the coronavirus in Iran is something that the United States of America fully supports. We will continue to support. That's true for every nation.
Another lawmaker pressed Pompeo on what he calls Trump's pattern of misinformation.
Weather-wise, we have a major warm-up in store for the weekend. I'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast right after this. But first, a look at stocks of local interest.
Can you all live the ultimate retirement? You can.
Acclaimed personal finance expert Susie Orman provides essential advice to make your retirement more successful and secure.
Every little action that you take can make a tremendous difference. It's never too soon to begin. Fear no more.
Susie Orman's Ultimate Retirement Guide.
I was on a kayak whale watching trip in California when this happened. A humpback whale breached on top of us. How can you get that close to something that big and not die? I was drawn into a much bigger story. There were other close encounters with whales. I became obsessed with whales, and that's where the detective work starts.
From the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Owensboro, Kentucky, join us to salute Bluegrass Now, music from the heart of the American spirit. Hosts Rhonda Vincent and Jim Lauderdale welcome an all-star ensemble of Allison Brown, Becky Bueller, Dan Tominski, Frank Sullivan, Larry Sparks, Michael Cleveland, Missy Raines, and Molly Tuttle in celebration of joyous music across gender and generations. Bluegrass Now.
When we dial up the nutritional quality of your diet, we dial up your health span and your lifespan.
Dr. Joel Furman is a board-certified physician whose pioneering work in nutrition has been acclaimed as a medical breakthrough for weight loss, disease reversal, and prevention. Change your life with the food you eat. Please join us for Dr. Furman's Food as Medicine.
Welcome back. I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. Well, look at this infrared satellite map. We can really see those lake effect clouds driving those lake effect snow showers further north and further east of us. And we even see some snow showers off to our south and east. That's due to a minor disturbance that's come through today. That also drove the snow showers that we saw last night that brought a few inches of accumulation to the WOUB, WOUC viewing area. But as we go throughout the night, this shortwave trough right here, that's what's driving all that cold weather. And these little disturbances in the jet stream, these jet streaks, are what driving those little surface disturbances that are driving those snow showers we see at the surface. And there's that front that came through last night that drove those moderate to heavy snow bands that came through later on last night and earlier on this morning. That has since moved off to the south, and this high pressure is going to move in as we go throughout the night, which means we are going to get pretty cold due to some outgoing long wave radiation keeping these colder temperatures at the surface. Colder air masses are overhead. Gusty winds will continue tonight, and that will drive pretty chilly wind chills. Those west-northwest winds out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour are going to drive wind chills in the lower teens and upper single digits by early tomorrow morning. So make sure you are bundled up as you're going out and about tomorrow morning. Here's your precip chances. They will be on and off as we have some moisture up in the mid-levels of the atmosphere that may drive a few snow showers later on tonight and earlier on tomorrow morning. But those temperatures and this green curve right here are steadily decreasing as we go throughout the night. It will be a chilly one. Again, make sure you are bundled up as you go out and about. 19 will be the low here in Athens. Isolated evening flurries, especially earlier on, and very cold. Again, bundled up as you're going out and about. Winds will be out of the west-northwest, as I said earlier, at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures generally in the upper teens and lower 20s. 18 in Columbus, 23 down in Ironton. That will be the warm spot. 23 in Ripley, 19, as I said earlier, here in Athens. 21 in New Lexington. Flurries just about wherever you go, again, due to that moist layer in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. That high pressure will continue to build in as we go throughout the day tomorrow, and it will be a splendid day tomorrow. On and off clouds, and it will be warmer tomorrow as well. Highs will be in the middle 30s, 34 here in Athens. On and off clouds, as I said earlier, but it will be breezy again because of a strong pressure gradient. Winds will be out of the west at 10 to 15 miles an hour. And again, across the area, temperatures generally in the middle and upper 30s. 32 in Columbus, 38 the warm spot down in Ironton, 36 in Jackson. Mainly partly cloudy down in southeastern portions of the viewing area, but again, watch out for some flurries further north and further east into the WOUB viewing area. So that high pressure moves out. It'll change the direction of flow coming out of the south, and a warm front will come through as well on Sunday, and it's going to warm up quite rapidly as we go throughout the weekend. And with that warm up, you guessed it, comes lots of precipitation. Our wet pattern will continue. February continued our streak of above average precip months. We were 1.97 inches above average for rain, liquid equivalent precipitation for the month of February. That's 2.21 inches year to date. So we're still quite above average, and next week should continue that trend. And with that warm up, as we see on the 7-day temperature averages, again, as I said earlier, we'll continue bringing in that precipitation as well. 6 degrees above average for Sunday, 3 degrees above average for Monday. We're all the way up to 9 degrees above average for Tuesday, back down to 4 degrees above average for Wednesday and Thursday before cooling you back down below average by Friday. Here's the 10-day air masses. We're quite chilly right now as that trough is setting up. That will eventually move out of the area, allowing warmer air to come in for Sunday and into Monday before our next cool down comes in again by next Friday. And here's that extended forecast. We warm you up to 54 on Sunday, 52 on Monday with rain chances, all the way up to 58 on Tuesday before cooling you back into the 40s to end next week. Anna?
Thanks, Nicholas. The number of pedestrians being killed in the United States has hit a 30-year high. But what's behind the deadly rise? Melissa Rainey has that information in today's Health Minute.
SUVs, drugs and alcohol, warm weather, and cell phones. According to a new study, those are the reasons behind an increase in pedestrian deaths. The Governor's Highway Safety Association says more than 6,500 people were killed walking on or near a road in 2019. That is the highest since 1988. California, Florida, and Texas have the most pedestrian deaths. Between 2009 and 2018, the number of pedestrians killed yearly went up a staggering 53%, while all other traffic deaths only increased by 2%. Everything from warmer weather, which encourages more nighttime activity like walking and is associated with more drinking, to distractions from smartphones and an increase in larger vehicles are all mentioned in the study. The GHSA also mentioned the decriminalization of marijuana in several states as a possible factor. The study, however, does not discuss the culpability and responsibility of pedestrians. The study suggests states and local communities focus on enforcement, engineering, education, and emergency response in order to get a handle on the problem. For today's Health Minute, I'm Melissa Rainey.
Another factor is the recent population growth, which has forced city dwellers into suburban environments that are not designed to be walkable.
I'm Paul Roth, and today in sports, I'll let you know how the Ohio softball team did in their game earlier today. Plus, the Ohio men's basketball team is playing right now in the Convocation Center. We'll give you an update on how they're doing next on Newswatch. Plus, stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
This is Pam Greer. Please join me for My Music's 20th anniversary year with an all-new special dedicated to the legends of soul, exclusively here on PBS.
Hey, y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band. Man, I don't care about anything else but being with you, being with you.
Celtic Woman, the best of. Celebrating 15 years. The music, the harmony, the hits. A PBS television special. Bringing their favorite songs from the journey so far. Celtic Woman, the best of.
From the Mother Church of Country Music in Nashville, Tennessee, join Ken Burns for an unforgettable concert and celebration of the history of country music, with performances of some of country music's most iconic songs by some of its greatest artists. Country Music live at the Ryman, a concert celebrating the film by Ken Burns.
From the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Owensboro, Kentucky, join us to salute Bluegrass Now, music from the heart of the American spirit. Hosts Rhonda Vincent and Jim Lauderdale welcome an all-star ensemble of Allison Brown, Becky Bueller, Dan Tominski, Frank Sullivan, Larry Sparks, Michael Cleveland, Missy Raines, and Molly Tuttle in celebration of joyous music across gender and generations. Bluegrass Now.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Roth. Well, after putting the hurt on Buffalo Tuesday, the Ohio men's basketball team is back and looking to do the same tonight against Kent State. And it's senior night for the Bobcats as fifth-year senior Jordan Dardis and graduate transfer Sylvester Agbanda are being honored tonight at the Convocation Center. And Tuesday's win over Buffalo was huge, but Ohio needs every win they can get down the stretch if they want a chance at hosting a MAC tournament game. And that's exactly the mentality head coach Jeff Bowles is telling his team going into tonight's game.
It's a big game because it's the next game. Obviously senior night have a little bit more appeal to it. But, I told our guys, don't let this be the last home game you play here. And, you got to play with a sense of urgency. Kent State handled us pretty good up there a couple weeks ago. So, it's going to be a tough challenge, but our guys are ready.
Now that game against State, that game just got started as we started our broadcast. And the Bobcats currently trail Kent State 10-5, about 5 minutes in the first half. Now Ohio women's basketball has a home matchup against Buffalo tomorrow, and boy, are they in need of a late February wake-up call. The Bobcats have dropped their last 2 games, most recently a 14-point loss to the last-place team in the MAC. It was the first time since 2018 the Bobcats lost back-to-back conference games. Now Ohio is currently in line to get the 3 seed in the MAC tournament, but they're just 1 game behind Ball State for the 2 spot, and well, head coach Bob Bolden wanted to send a message yesterday at practice.
A lot of running. I saw them running.
A discipline thing?
Yeah, I didn't see them shoot a single shot today. It's just a lack of interest in doing things the way that Ohio basketball has traditionally done them. And there's certainly time to get back to playing basketball the right way. Whether we do or not, it kind of remains to be seen.
Bulldogs are playing in the Division II Region 7 District Semifinal against 7th seed Logan Elm. Now, a bit of a mouthful there, but what's big about this game is that due to upsets, the Bulldogs will be able to avoid all 4 of the top seeds in the regions if they can get a win. But first, they got to worry about the Braves. The game tips at 8:45 tomorrow night. Wrapping up the first of a 4-game weekend series against Southeast Missouri State. The Bobcats on the wrong end of today's game, losing 3-0. Trevor Hafner went 1 for 4 with a double, but other than that, no other Bobcat could manage an extra base hit. They'll play another 2 games against the Redhawks tomorrow before finishing off the series Sunday afternoon. And Ohio softball also on the diamond today. They're in South Carolina for 5 games over the weekend. First game this morning against Maryland East Shore, the Bobcats had some fun with it, taking down the Hawks 10-1 in just 5 innings. Shortstop Katie Yoon looked like she was just taking batting practice, going 3 for 3 with 3 runs, 2 RBIs, and a solo shot in the 3rd inning. Now, the Bobbies are currently playing Coastal Carolina for the back end of a doubleheader. This should be a fun weekend for the ladies.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And researchers have discovered a mini-moon temporarily orbiting the Earth. The asteroid, about the size of a car or refrigerator, was pulled into Earth's orbit about 3 years ago. This is only the 2nd time a mini-moon has been identified. The discovery was on February 15th by research specialists for the Catalina Sky Survey. It's a NASA-funded project at the University of Arizona's Lunar and Planetary Lab in Tucson, Arizona. A professor of physics at Florida Gulf Coast University says he doesn't expect the mini-moon to stay in Earth's orbit for longer than another month or 2. Now, that's all that we have for you today on Newswatch. Thanks for watching. I'm Anna Azalian. And stay tuned for PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Calling all high school basketball fans, we're back for Season 11 of Hardwood Heroes. I'm your host, Sam Wiesnath, here with my co-host, T. Willis.
We've got all the TVC action on WOUB Sunday nights at 11 and Monday nights at 6.
As always, we're your hosts reminding you to be heroic.
Support comes from the Hocking Hills Tourism Association, showcasing the serenity of Ohio's Hocking Hills